Hi friends, I'm Brecky from Brecky Writes, and this is a quick life update. It has been a long time, almost a year, since I've released videos on the channel. I did videos for NaNoWriMo last year, and I'm debating doing videos again. I may or may not. I'll give you a little bit of an update on what I'm working on. But I also wanted to give you a little bit of an update of where I've been and why I have taken a super hiatus from this channel, super hiatus honestly from being a creative writer in general. We've had a massive amount of transition. Some of you who follow me on other platforms know that I was working at a university with my husband, and we both were working full-time, but we also had our twin toddlers home full-time with us because they couldn't go to daycare with COVID restrictions. So it just burned both of us out. So much so that my husband took a massive career pivot out of academia and is now working in a totally different field in consulting. We moved states from West Virginia to North Carolina to be closer to family. And I left my job without a job lined up, which is the first time since I became an adult that I haven't had a job or further schooling laid out next. I feel very uncomfortable with this. So I've been a stay-at-home mom now for almost 3 months, but I am in the process of job hunting and discerning career pivots and discerning really what I want to do. And dealing with student loan craziness, as a lot of us are dealing with all the different moving parts in the United States for student loan forgiveness. So that has been kind of the very condensed version of what's gone on. We did a lot of travel this summer, including going to Florida to go to Disney World and then stopping in Georgia to visit my family. And unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to my grandmother. She entered hospice at the end of June, and she died in early July, very, very suddenly from thyroid cancer at the age of 91. So just a very challenging summer for me, and all of that, all the moving, all the getting people signed up for school and getting us moved and getting us unpacked and looking for permanent houses because we're in a rental townhouse right now, and looking for jobs and thinking about career pivots has absolutely sucked my creativity and my creative drive totally dry. I didn't have any creative well to draw from. I had ideas, I had things I wanted to work on, but every time I opened the computer to be creative, the blank page just felt like a monumental task, and the joy wasn't there. So I stopped. I stopped watching BookTube because I got sad that I wasn't feeling creative. I stopped participating in things. My Twitter has been kind of logged out and I don't remember all my credentials, and I've taken a break, which I think has been a good thing. It seems like it's just been drama central lately. And that break, I think, has done me a world of good. I'm just now getting my toes back into reading fiction. I took a huge fiction break for like 6 months and I've been reading almost exclusively nonfiction. I've just started rereading fiction with a couple of classics. I'm going to be reading Sabriel in the next couple weeks because it's my favorite standalone fantasy novel of all time. I know it's imperfect, but I read it in 8th grade and it's still my fave. I also am reading The Glass Witch by Lindsay Puckett, which has been fun to read finally after watching her query it and get an agent and get a book deal and just bloom and blossom to see a real life YouTuber have success, and to read a book that I find frankly beautifully written. The precision and the whimsy and the voice is just so good. So that's been really fun to dive into. I'm only just in the beginning, but I'm really, really enjoying it so far. I'm listening to it on audiobook that's how I'm reading the majority of my material right now. And I'm just now beginning to write again and doing a discernment process of where I want to put my creative energies. I've realized that although I have interest in writing things outside of the strictly fantasy genre, like I'd love to write some historical romance novels, I don't want to make a career of doing that. So I really want to find a way to platform myself as a kidlit author in the fantasy setting, but it's so inundated with YA. In fact, I have a whole bunch of observations after taking my sons to go book shopping at how YA has really almost swung way too far to one direction, and I will make a whole video on that at some point. I'm also going to be focusing my energy on writing middle grade. I love middle grade. I love the whimsy and the fun of middle grade. I love the heart of middle grade, and I love that they're shorter so that you're not committed to 90,000 words or 75,000 words. You're committed to anywhere from 35 to 50,000 words. And that means that you can move through a story more quickly, move through a project more quickly, and it doesn't feel like such a weight when you're trying to write around a day job and other things. So I'm going to be moving and focusing on my middle grade material. Right now, I am in the process of first drafting, zero drafting, quick drafting a ghost story. I'm very excited. It's going to be creepy with a hint of whimsy is my goal. And I'm very excited about it, which is what you should be when you get into a project. So that will be my first goal. And I'm actually hoping to have a zero draft done really before the end of the first week of November. Then I'm going to launch into my nano project, which is going to be a revision of a sword and sorcery style elves, dwarves, and other creepies from Norse mythology type of story that I'm hoping will be a duology that's for middle grade readers, including a very snarky talking cat. Those of you who followed me on Twitter, I did use it as a pitch contest piece, and I'm coming back and revising it because it just isn't quite where it needs to be. After that, I don't know. I'm looking at becoming a hybrid author and really taking my adult ideas and turning them into online-only self-published pieces because the market is just so tight for YA and adult that I don't know that I'm going to be able to make an inroad there. And I don't know that I want to wait 5, 7, 10 years to establish myself as a kidlit author before I start writing for older readers. So I'm in the process of seriously discerning if I want to have a hybrid career, which I think is most likely the way forward for a lot of us. And taking some of my more niche ideas, I have a novel that is set during the Civil War that I actually want to revise and move towards the Revolutionary War, but it's about werewolves in the Revolutionary War, right? American Revolutionary War. That's pretty niche, and I don't know that that would necessarily sell in a publishing market, right? The print publishing industry, but I do think that it has a place in online readership and that it could be a really fun readership to create and cultivate. So I'm in a discernment process around that. And everything is going to depend upon, honestly, my bandwidth, because I thought I would have all this time now that I'm not working a day job, but I find that I actually have less time because when I had my day job, I gave my entire hour of work, my entire lunch hour, I wrote. It was like every day, lunch hour, clock in, boom, I knew exactly what I was going to write, and I did 15-minute sprints to make the most of my 60, sometimes 75-minute lunch breaks. Now that I don't have that, I am doing house projects. I'm picking up the kids. I'm doing a lot more working out, which is good for my mental health. Lifting weights is really, really good for my mental health, but it's an hour in the gym, right? And then it's an hour of cleaning up. And then it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of job hunting and applying and student loan follow-ups. And then it's the kids are home. And then, it's all of a sudden, because it's not the most important thing, because I don't have a strict deadline, I'm not getting the writing done. So I'm hoping that in making videos, my goal is going to be to try to do a video a week, we'll see, is to use it as an accountability piece. They're not going to be fancy, there's not going to be great lighting, this is on my iPhone, but I figure if I can just do this as an accountability to what I'm working on, then even if no one watches this, at least I am putting this up and saying, here's the line in the sand. I'm excited to work on my middle grade ghost story about a boy who sees ghosts in the windows. I'm excited about getting back to my sword and sorcery story. I loved writing this story. I had the most fun writing the story of anything I've done in years, but it needs quite a bit of revision and I just don't seem to feel like I know exactly where I want to go with it yet. So before I force my hand there, I want to get those creative juices flowing. After that, I have a sort of YA contemporary that I'm thinking of leaning heavier into the supernatural elements and then either querying it or seeing about self-publishing it and what that would look like, because I love the story and I actually think it's one of my better written pieces, but it's just not quite finding its home. So that's it. I moved. So that's it. Lots of life change, travel, grief, moving, career changes, stress of not having a job yet, stress of student loans, having the kids in school. We got COVID over the summer, just trying to figure everything out and trying to tap back into that well of creativity that I feel like for a while was really dry. And now I just need to nourish it. I just need to reconnect to it and make the space to write my stuff. I hope you guys are all doing super well. Let me know how you are. Comment down below and just say hi. And hopefully I can get back to being in this community as one of the few parents, who's also a writer here on BookTube and AuthorTube. So until the next video, whenever that is, hopefully it'll be in less than a week. Hopefully I will chronicle NaNoWriMo. No promises, but I'm gonna try. So until that next video, bye.